The one and only Ethan Klein has got into some drama again. He always gets into hot water. It's been like about 3 to 4 months since he has been getting into drama over and over and over again. But this time it's a more different topic. Now this is about James Charles and his merch. Now let me give you a rundown of this. James Charles released a different type of hoodie or sweater, whatever you want to call it, and it resembled a lot of the theme or style that Teddy Fresh, which is Hila and Ethan's brand, resembled. It resembled a lot of that colorful color blocked sweaters. Now this tweet from Ethan Klein will show you why I think it caused him to do this. Now I know we didn't invent color blocking, but I'm having a hard time with the new James Charles merch. It's the same exact design as Hila's, combined with the fact that his audience is so huge. Many people assume that he designed it and accusing us for plagiarism. So if you've followed me on this channel, you know that I don't like Ethan very much. I was kind of a fan of him, but now I just don't like the things that he does. And also I'm fine with James Charles. I mean, he doesn't really do anything that, makes me pissed or anything. There probably must be some other things, but he's just from a different community, so I'm not too sure about this. But this is very hard to understand who's in the right and who's in the wrong here, because the thing is, first of all, Ethan is kind of right. Ethan is right because he did not invent color blocking. However, the design that he chose, that James Charles chose, was a lot similar. It was very similar to his own design from Teddy Fresh. It was not different whatsoever. I mean, it was different. You could see the sisters thing, unlike Teddy Fresh, which has this small logo there, but you could see the specific colors that were chosen were very similar to Teddy Fresh. Now here are the things in where James Charles has a much bigger advantage here. First of all, it's hard to understand what Ethan really wants here. So in the first tweet that he makes, he tries to hint that he wants people to understand that this is not copying anybody. This is kind of James Charles copying him instead. So essentially, I think this was like a tweet to inform everybody that, hey, I'm not copying anybody. This guy's copying me. But now afterwards, he retweets this Eli Klein tweet. Of course, they're together. Of course, they planned this out. And then he said, I guess I might as well share some behind the scenes. This is my first sketch. Dude, first of all, this is a color block sweater. You can put anything in this. This is so coincidental. By that, I mean, it's so coincidental as in you can do this and you might not even know he ever made a tee like this or a sweater like this. Just like James Charles, because when he quote tweeted this, when you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you an original photo that inspired my collection. I explained I have never seen your brand, but also asked what you wanted me to do. You did not reply. After last year, I vowed to keep all my conversations, blah, blah, blah. So he essentially did not reply to James Charles, which is, again, it's Ethan's fault. That's literally his fault. He showed the original picture and you just left him on red. So yeah, that's kind of his fault for calling him out again and slandering him. Basically, that's slandering him because you did not have the original design as your design. That was not an original design because he showed the original inspiration for his own merch and you did not respond. Two things. Either we get to see this original inspiration, and if this inspiration is exactly or almost the same as the Teddy Fresh inspiration, not only will we know that Ethan is just trying to run away from the situation and now running away to go to the internet to complain about this even though he knows he's wrong, we will also get to know that this so-called original design from Hila was not even original in the first place, because he's really pushing it here into telling everybody that, whoa, this thing is original even though it's clearly not. Well, this will be true if James Charles shows the photo. Also, it's pretty hypocritical to say the least because he, DM'd him, called him out for it, and at the same time, this never was his own original thing because, again, he was calling out James Charles for doing it and not being original. Well, he never really copied him at all. It was just another inspiration. So it's like a clash of two different designs. Of course, we'll get to know all of this if we get to know what the picture is and when was it released, because, again, it was released in 2017. I'm talking about the Teddy Fresh merch. So if the picture that was his inspiration, if it was released before that, then it would make sense. If it was released after that, it wouldn't make sense. Well, I hope you guys understood that. I mean, if you guys did not understand, you can always just leave a comment and I'll respond. Now, before I move on with Ethan's response, I'm going to show you guys some stuff people have found on Twitter that, support both arguments. Now, first off, the first tweet I actually saw was, I'm sorry, are we not going to talk about how James Charles basically just stole Ethan and Hila's design? No. The thing is, it was 15 hours ago, which was a long time before this even came out, before, Ethan made this statement at all. So it was pretty ironic for Ethan to say that, oh, people will accuse me of stealing your merch, when in the first place, the someone was accusing James Charles for copying you instead of the opposite. At this point, I'm pretty convinced that Ethan probably saw this tweet at first and then he was like, yeah, I should DM James Charles. He probably didn't even know this happened until he saw this tweet, and this tweet blew up as well. Now let's move on to James Charles being quite questionable in terms of of what he said. Now, he said he never knew about Teddy Fresh. However, when you search color block hoodie in the internet, the first result that comes out is Teddy Fresh, and there are many other pictures that show Teddy Fresh. So I'm pretty surprised that James Charles did not know about this. However, as you can see, Sidemen is also there as well. And if you look at the Sidemen picture, like I said before, you can see that they're using very similar colors, just putting it in different positions, which is so easy to do. And that's why I don't think James Charles really copied Teddy Fresh. It was kind of a coincidence. If he were to copy them, he would obviously make it much more unnoticeable. But as you can see, it is so similar compared to the Teddy Fresh design. I'm pretty convinced that the Sidemen did take this idea from Teddy Fresh, and if they did, let's just say hypothetically if they did, you can clearly see that they switched it up a bit, and the colors are normally the same, but you can see they did switch it up a bit. Why would James Charles not do that? But still, there's so many other results that show Teddy Fresh, so it really seems like he's probably lying, even though I don't think he would make it that obvious. And even DaBaby and Famous Dex wore this, so it's pretty known very well compared to what James Charles is saying. Of course, I'm just pointing out things. I'm not saying, oh, James Charles is lying. It's just really weird that he just doesn't know about this. Of course, I may be wrong, and the people that tweeted this out also might be 100% wrong, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, now we get into the reply. Ethan Klein said, I give you the permission to share our convo. You told me that you were going to sell them anyway, so you also admitted that the similarity wasn't a coincidence. I DM'd you because I wanted to keep this private, but I found your response combative and dismissive. Honestly, I think this response is pretty good because in the beginning, if you see, James Charles said that after last year, I vowed to keep conversations private and create solutions, not drama. And now Ethan is asking him to show the entire conversation if he wants to. Now that's the main thing. This is just Ethan giving him the green light just to, expose or show the DMs, show the real thing, the real deal. He probably knows what he's getting into, and he already knows that he said things that were right and some things were just a bit out of context or probably not true. Or probably this might be Ethan just trying to prove to everybody that, hey, I can expose it if I want to, even though he's probably not going to expose it because he just said he wants to keep his DMs private. So Ethan might be using this against him, so people think that he's just using this, I'm keeping my DMs private, so people think he's actually scared and he doesn't want the truth to come out, even though that's probably not even true, and he wants to keep his DMs private, not because he doesn't want to get exposed, he just doesn't want to perpetuate this mess that was already made. So yeah, what do you think about this? Let me know your opinions in the comments section below. This is me, Noms, and also if you would like to, you can just follow my Twitter. Best way to contact me is there, and subscribe, and yeah, that's it.